Houses are structures in which humans put a lot of effort to make them comfortable, and being inside should be a pleasant experience. However, there are some homes that are not comfortable, not safe, and even located in places where no one would want to live, making them practically uninhabitable unless someone decided to live in them in the worst possible way. So today, I'll talk to you about the most uninhabitable houses in the world. Let's get started. This is the remotest house in the world, located on Elliday Island, a quite distant and lonely island in Iceland. It's a small islet with half a square kilometer, and you can only access it by ropes on the edges of the cliffs. There's no infrastructure, access, services, and certainly no people. The only thing you can find there is this mysterious house that seems to have been placed there without an apparent reason. For a long time, this home was a complete mystery to everyone, and there were hundreds of rumors about its origin and who lived there. Now, the real story is that it was built in 1954 and belongs to a group that hunts puffins, endangered birds that, strangely, the Icelandic government allows hunting. But being so remote and having such complicated access, we can consider that this house is impossible to inhabit under normal conditions. Just Rumanoff Island, also known as Hub Island, is located in the Thousand Islands in New York, and as you can see, it's a tiny floating piece of land. It is considered the smallest inhabited island in the world and has a house on it. Although it's just over 300 square meters, it's spacious enough to have a fairly modern home, a large shrub, and even a beach. But who came up with the idea of building a house in such a place? The Iceland family did in the 1950s. They decided to buy the completely desolate land with the idea of building their summer home there, and so they did. In the end, they built a two-story house of about 300 square meters, and if you ask me, it looks quite beautiful. They even cleared the area in front of the house to create a kind of miniature beach. And the best part is that it's designed to withstand high tides, so in case the sea level rises, you would be completely safe. The problem is that it's in the middle of the water, and making a living there is quite complicated. Only someone who wants to disconnect from life for a while could live here. Philip Schuster is the skater responsible for the Skate Villa, a house where more and more skateboarders gather. Originally an abandoned house in Salzburg, Austria, Philip, a skateboarding enthusiast, and his friends decided to turn it into a sort of skate park indoors. To do this, they simply used tons of concrete and remodeled walls, corners, and windows to make them suitable for ramps and skateboarding. But don't think it was easy. It took them about 2,300 hours to complete all the details to make it easy to skate inside. At the southern tip of the remote Marco Island in Cape Romano, Florida, you'll find these mysterious dome-shaped structures. Initially, explorers believed it was the home of an ancient community that eventually abandoned the area. Others claimed it was facilities left behind by extraterrestrials. But nothing could be further from the truth. The reality is that it's a vacation home built in 1980 by a retired independent oil producer named Bob Lee, who chose to give it a unique design that would stand out from any structure previously created by humans. It was even quite advanced for its time, using solar energy, being completely self-sufficient, and operated for several years until 2005 when Hurricane Wilma hit the area. This phenomenon caused significant damage to the domes, and the coastline was dragged to a worrisome point, indicating that the sea would eventually engulf everything. So, all these factors made the place uninhabitable in the long run, and it was definitively abandoned. Today, these domes can only be accessed by boat, unlike a few decades ago when you could practically walk into them. In the city of Santos, located about 80 kilometers from Sao Paulo, Brazil, there is a locality that looks like any other until you stop to examine the buildings along the coast. As you can see, the vast majority of them are inclined in a quite alarming way that makes you believe they could collapse into the ocean at any moment. So, don't worry if you think they are about to fall because, in part, they are. Originally, they were not built this way. In fact, they were perfectly vertical, like any other building, but over the years, they gradually tilted. The reason for this was the site where they are erected. You see, beneath the sand, there is a slippery clay layer about 35 centimeters thick that deformed under the weight of the buildings, which is not insignificant. This caused the structures to tilt over the years, putting at risk all the people living there because now they are not properly distributed, and at any moment, they could collapse and crumble. And the worst part is that neither the government or anyone seems to have intentions to fix this. So, these buildings are a place where I wouldn't recommend living. The Phoenix House is a unique residence located at the foot of the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii, which is quite dangerous as it is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. As you can see, it's a small but cozy home that seems to be in the middle of nowhere because no one would dare to build their home in such a perilous location. It has a bedroom upstairs, a small kitchen, a bathroom, and a tiny living room. Moreover, it has all the amenities such as Wi-Fi, heating, and air conditioning. And in case you're wondering, it uses solar energy for electricity and collects rainwater for the bathroom. What else would you need to live there? Well, Nothing except the peace of mind knowing that you're living with a very active volcano nearby. The rental price is $200 per night and comes with many offers and activities such as yoga classes, taxi rides from the airport to the house, and tours of the area. But it's only available to be inhabited when the volcano activity is low and does not pose a risk to the tenants. The nomadic tribe of the Korowai in West Papua builds their homes about 35 meters high in the depths of the jungle. And why do they do this even though it looks quite dangerous? Well, they do it to stay safe from any type of animal or insect that may lurk in these places, and also to protect themselves from some weather phenomena like landslides or floods in the event of heavy rains. They even claim that this keeps away evil spirits that roam the ground. Clearly, they must build these houses on the tops of the strongest trees they can find, usually ironwood trees, which have incredibly resilient trunks capable of bearing several tons of weight. The houses are also symbols of status, so the higher and larger they are, the greater the prestige of the inhabitants. And as you may have guessed, building them is no easy task. They use jungle materials, palm for roofs and floors, and cover the walls with rolls of tree bark. Although the most challenging part is climbing to the top of the tree to start construction, which usually takes about 2 weeks. The Crazy House, or Upside-Down House of Guatavita, is a tourist attraction located outside Bogotá, Colombia, in the Santa Maria de Guatavita district. It is nothing more and nothing less than a house created by the Austrian artist Fritz Schall. Not only does it appear upside down from the outside, but everything inside is perfectly placed to create the illusion that you are walking on the ceiling. All the furniture, such as chairs, shelves, and utensils, is fixed to the top of the rooms to make it seem like gravity affects them, and you are the one violating the laws of physics. Achieving this effect was not easy because not only did a design have to be created to cause this effect, but also a structure capable of supporting the weight of objects hanging from the ceiling, as a regular house wouldn't withstand this. It turned out to be a very popular attraction in the locality, but those who enter it claim that it is not a house suitable for living, as you get disoriented upon entering. The same happens when leaving it. This intriguing house is actually an art installation called Rockaway, located on the long beach of the same name in New York. It was created by the German artist Katharina Gross as a gesture to bring life to the place after Hurricane Sandy devastated everything in 2012. Before this structure was used as a base for water sports. But after this catastrophe, it was completely isolated, damaged, and covered in sand. That's why Katarina decided to restore some of its former glory by painting it with reddish, orangish, and blue colors. But she didn't limit herself to just the walls. Colors also stand out in the sand and blend along it, creating a colorful seafoam effect. This allowed her to hide some imperfections like cracks in the walls and the roof, and everything around it looks quite lively, unlike how it looked just after the hurricane. Unfortunately, it remains an unsafe small structure and is not suitable for habitation, no matter how brilliant it may seem. And well, that's all for today. If you loved this video, don't forget to share it with your friends and follow us to learn new curiosities every week. This is Hallucinated, and we'll see you in the next one. Until next time.